Welcome back. This is part 2 of 3. And if you haven't watched part 1 yet, you need to do that first, and the link is in the description. We covered the first 2 recruiting engines, online authority and database domination. Now we're finishing the recruiting machine and then getting into the system that determines whether the agents you sign will actually stay with you. Let's get after it. Most brokers think, I'm not a content marketer, I get it, and they skip this whole piece entirely. And that's a 5-figure a month mistake. Your database will convert 41 times higher than any other cold prospecting that you do. And it's the longest compounding asset in your entire business. Don't we teach agents that the highest value piece of their business is their database? But you have to build it. You have to feed it, you gotta own it. That's your database. And then we get to engine number 3, which are events. Look, the room is the relationship accelerator. Nothing replaces belly-to-belly connection. Real estate professionals, you and I both know 87% of the licensees don't make it in this business. Don't worry, I don't have anything to sell you here, but what I do want to do is I want to impact your life. I want to change your life. In order for you to be the top of the top, you're going to need to do some things different, and one of those things is to become part of the Sales Warrior community. Subscribe below, it's free. And most brokers, I don't know, they hate events for whatever reason. I know they cost money and they take time. And sometimes they're hard to fill, which is a little bit crazy. And they don't really produce a signed agent the night of the event, which makes it kind of feel like it's a bit of a loss. That's because most agents misunderstand what an event is actually for. And hosted events that I want every broker owner running are monthly market update class, very important. Open to all agents in your market. How about a NAR settlement or commission strategy session? How about AI workshops that every agent in your market is scared of right now, right? Nobody knows how to use AI, but you can teach it. How about private hit list luncheons where you take your top targets only in a more intimate and high leverage situation? And then of course you can attend every event that's going on that you're not paying for, that you're not hosting. I mean, think about your MLS events, your real estate schools, your networking events. I mean, it's about being visible. It's about being present. It's about being the broker that every agent in your market has actually met, that actually knows. The minimum is 1 hosted recruiting adjacent event per month. These aren't recruiting events, they're recruiting adjacent. And every event conversation then becomes a database entry within 24 hours. Boom, plugged into your computer. The room is where trust gets built. And then trust is what closes recruiting conversations. It's not splits. So let's get to engine number 4, which is farming. Most broker owners hear farming and they think, well, this is geographic farming for buyers and sellers. That is not what we're talking about here. Recruiting farming is proactive, it's systematic, it's campaign-driven marketing targeted to very specific agents and very specific brokerages. There's production farming. You identify, say a rising star or the agent that's trending down or the agent that's been flat for a few years. You can use products like Realytics or your MLS data, raw data, and you build a list and then you follow it, you market to it relentlessly. Or your hit list. Right? That's your top 20, 30, 40 personal targets. These are the people that would move the needle in your office, the agents that you want most. And you review that every single week, and it never goes cold. You know their kids' names, you know their last closing, their listings, you know what they're posting. So what do you do with these lists? Well, you can do direct mail. Personalized market reports are great. Congratulations emails or mailers are great. Hey, how about handwritten notes? Nobody's doing those anymore, which is exactly why they work so well. And then you wrap it all in a campaign-driven farm, like an 8-week themed campaign with a centerpiece event as the conversion, as the lead magnet. You're running meta farming ads 30 to 60 days out. By the time the call happens, the agent's seen you 6 different ways. That changes this from recruiting to more of a gravitational pull, which brings us to engine 5. Which is social distribution. This is the engine that most broker owners either think they're running, and most of them aren't, or, well, they don't understand it altogether. Social distribution is not I post. Social distribution is consistent. It's intentional presence on every platform where the agent in your market actually is. Think about it, you use Facebook for community, you use Instagram for culture, you use LinkedIn for credibility, but also it's a great place for mergers and acquisitions. There's 3 rules when it comes to social distribution though, and you've got to write these down. Rule number 1, engagement first. Okay, you're commenting, you're reacting, you're responding before you ever think of pitching. Every agent on your hit list, You have to follow, you have to friend, you have to connect across all the platforms, all of them. You have to be in their feed before you're ever going to get them to answer your phone. And then there's rule number 2, repurpose everything, right? This is not about you becoming a content creator, like a social media influencer. This is one YouTube video that gets split up into 5, 7, 10 social assets every single week. You shoot once, but you distribute everywhere. Trust me, you're gonna love that one. And then there's rule number 3, no cold audience. Every post is a warm touch to somebody that's already in your orbit. You're not looking to build reach. You're confirming authority and recognition through social distribution. That makes up the 5 engines. You got online authority, database domination, events, farming, and social distribution. Run them all at 60%. That's it. And you become the inevitable broker in the market. But listen, if you run 2 of them at 100% and the others at 0, you will stay invisible, because the brokers that are running all 5, they will absolutely lap you. So here's a quick gut check for you before we move on to the next one. Which of these 5 engines is the weakest for you? 1 through 5, drop it in the comments below. I read the comments. I promise you I'll respond to all of them. But that's the recruiting machine. That's what feeds your pipeline. And the pipeline is the next part, because lead engines without a pipeline is just busy work. I run mine through a system that I called REACH, which is research, engage, appoint, close, and handoff. And every recruiting conversation has a stage. Every stage has a next stage, so that way nothing ever falls through the cracks. Listen, that's very important, because oftentimes what happens is we do some of these things just instinctively, but then they fall through the cracks and we never get any traction. I'll send you the full pipeline framework to anybody who books a call with me, and that link is also in the description below. But look, the engines are the foundation. Without the engines, pipeline's empty, nothing to do. Right? So if you only do one thing after watching this video, pick the lowest scoring engine in your business and start there. So that's system number 1. If you're still with me, we're halfway through, and here's what's coming, right? The second half of this is where most of you are gonna realize that you've been recruiting hard into a system that loses agents faster than you can sign them. Listen, there are companies that I've worked with that when we started, their attrition rate was 30+% a year. Can you imagine? 30% or more of the agents are going to leave. So you've got to fill that void with more than 30%. Otherwise you're shrinking, and you're shrinking so slow you don't know that you're dying. And we're going to fix that. So stay with me. So system 2, the one that most brokers don't even have at all. All right, and that's agent development. And I'm gonna say something that's probably gonna make some of you upset, but you came here for the truth, right? So might as well give it to you. Most brokerages don't develop agents, full stop. What they do is they warehouse them. Right? You sign them up, we collect them fees, we have their splits, their desk rent, whatever you call it, however your model is structured. And then you let them sink or swim. And when they fail, we come up with all kinds of reasons as to why they fail. None of them are ourselves, right? You blame the agent, you blame the market, you blame their work ethic. Yo, that's not leadership. That is not coaching. That's predatory recruiting. And in my world, that's immoral. Here's why this matters more than anything else. When you're recruiting in a market like this, the agent who's open to making a move right now, it's not the same agent that was open 3 years ago. See, today's movable agent is one of 4 types. You've got the rising producer, 1 to 5 years in, they're doing some transactions, but they got no systems, no coaching, no real support. Their brokerage literally is a transaction processor. It's not a training ground. And then you got the glass ceiling agent. That's probably 6 to 12 deals, but they're stuck. They're working hard, but they're not making any progress. And what they need is a coach, not a desk. Then you got the team agent. We call them zeros because, well, they don't get any credit for anything. They're actually ready to go out and build a book. They don't know how, and they need somebody to help them emerge on their own. And then you got the M&A avatar. Those are the owners or the team leaders that are carrying all of the weight with none of the resources. They're exhausted. You know what I'm talking about. They're under-resourced and beyond stressed. And probably they're thinking, gosh, what in the world have I done? This structure's not working. Works in a crazy market, but doesn't work in this market. And these 4 people have one thing in common. They're not broken. They're unstructured. And structure is what you bring to the table. It's not what they're good at. You don't recruit them by promising a better split. You recruit them by promising and delivering a development track that turns the agent that they are today into the operator they dreamt of. That's the full recruiting machine and the truth about agent development. 4 types of movable agents, and every single one of them needs structure, not a better split. In part 3, I'm going to show you the development track itself, the lead infrastructure that makes agents, at least smart ones, never want to leave you, and then the operations and culture, which are the two systems that turn your brokerage from a job into an asset. Let's get into it.